Hi, and welcome to this week's Thrive in 5. I'm glad you're here. This week I want to talk about a problem that continues to show up. It's a question I get asked regularly, and it's all about professional. And see, I have a problem with this word professional because often what the question relates to is this: does my marketing seem professional? Is this professional, this kind of thing we do? Well, the more I've thought about that and the more I've tried to explain it to people, here's the best way I know how to explain it. Most times in our heads, what we perceive as professional is something along these lines, something that's pretty, something that's pleasing, something that's perfect. And in many cases, there's nothing inherently wrong with being pretty, pleasing, and perfect. It's just the way it is. A lot of times we call that corporate. It's got kind of a lack of feeling or a lack of substance to it a lot of times, but that's professional. And yet we often contrast that with something that might seem like this whiteboard video, which is not so professional looking. It's just done by hand. There's no big production value to it. I just write it on the whiteboard. But what's interesting to me is asking this question: is what I'm doing professional in terms of, is it pretty, pleasing, and perfect? Or is what I'm doing actually competent to perform the work? When you actually look at what the meaning of professional means, that's what it is. A professional is someone who's competent to do the work. They're trained, they're effective at it. And so what you've got to start asking yourself, not is this perfect and pleasing? Is this marketing activity, is this marketing collateral, is this marketing piece, is this direct mail? Any of the kind of tools you use in web marketing or in any kind of marketing, you have to ask, is it competent to actually perform the work I'm asking it to do, or does it just look good? And what's intriguing about that question to me is the evolution of that, because where most corporate stuff, where most corporate marketing you see out there, it all fits in this category. It's all pretty, pleasing, and perfect. And so if you send a direct mail that's pretty, pleasing, and perfect, and it's sized the perfect way, and it's all nice, and yes, you pay the people to do it right, but it shows up, it often shows up such that everybody else looks pretty, pleasing, and perfect. And yet sometimes when it doesn't look pretty, pleasing, and perfect, it's the only thing that stands out. And when you're trying to market yourself, one of the most important things you can do is stand out from the crowd. When you look like everybody else, you get lumped in with everybody else. So occasionally I want you to stop yourself when you're looking at something that actually looks like it is competent to produce or perform the work of marketing, and don't get stuck into this belief that it has to be always professional. The problem with professional is it often forces you to be too careful. It keeps you from exploring interesting things that might actually accomplish a result that might push you out so you don't look like everyone else. Go for competent to perform instead of pretty, pleasing, and perfect, and I think you'll get great results. That's this week's Thrive in 5. You've now got the knowledge. Now go do something great with it. We'll talk to you next week.